Good morning, everyone. You are listening to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio on this fabulous Saturday morning. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn to my right here, who brings you the news at the top of each hour and also helps me get through some of these segments.
And also happens to be starving right now.
Starving and a bagel lover, which brings us to our compass word for this final segment of the second hour, picket. And I was telling you, Patty, at the beginning of the show that I had no problem with the first picket because that's how I came up with the compass word, and that's Rex Pickett, who the author of the novel Sideways. And he was a great guest, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Full of information. What a great thing they have going on with that play and the wine tasting after.
Yeah, the wine tasting underlined right there.
Yeah.
Boy, it sounds like you have a full glass the entire play. No wonder it's sold out. And then we just went up to Oregon for what I think would be one of the most unique vacations to spend it in an old fire lookout. Right.
Yeah.
Pickett Butte Overlook. Well, then I tried to find a food category, because we are Eat, Drink, Explore.
Right, yeah.
And I was searching Pickett everything you can imagine. And I was almost thinking, am I going to have to change the word, But no, then all of a sudden I stumbled upon an article in Eater. If you've ever been to eater.com, it's a great website. And also one through the New York Times, both of them praising the bagels made at one cafe in South Portland, Maine, as being some of the best in the Northeast. And that says a lot because that's sort of the home of the bagel.
That is saying something.
That's right. So the founder of this place, I love the name of this restaurant, 158 Pickett Street Cafe. That's the address and the name.
It's one of those things everyone must know.
Exactly. Josh Pataki. He is the owner and founder of that place and now live on our show. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks.
Great to have you here. And so most people would just assume, because you live there in the Northeast, that that's where you got your start making bagels. But Patty?
I'm curious to know where you learned your craft. Bagel making itself is an interesting thing.
Yeah, it was a traveling thing. I learned to bake bread in North Carolina, just a little bit of like loaf bread and stuff like that. Then I moved out to Big Sky, Montana, just to pretty much snowboard mostly.
The home of the bagel.
So I was there for a bunch of
Big
seasons.
Sky, right.
What's that?
Big Sky, Montana, the home of the bagel.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I was there for like 4 years, and I moved down to Bozeman because I was going to go to take a trip to Peru, and I got a job just for like a month at this little cafe called the Sweet Pea Cafe. And I went in there and got a job. It was like they were making all this crazy stuff, like croissants and like these amazing bagels and all kinds of stuff. So the bagels there were just like this different bagel than I'd ever had. They were kind of like really chewy, super like holy, kind of sour. So basically, I was baking there. I ended up staying there for a year. I was going to go to Peru, and I realized that there was too much knowledge there for me to pass up. So I kind of apprenticed there and started baking and stuff like that. Learned there, and then ended up here.
Are you originally from Portland, Maine, and that's why you ended up...
No, Pennsylvania originally.
Oh, okay.
I ended up in Portland, Maine, randomly from the woman who taught me how to bake in North Carolina. She had been up here. And in between all of that, I went chefing on this yacht, and basically I was done with that and didn't really know what I was doing for summer. And I called her up to say hi, and she had me come up for a summer job.
I love stories like yours.
It's like Josh's adventures in cooking.
Right. Baking, yeah. And it's you just sort of follow your passion at the time, and it led you to... Now, your place has been around a while, more than 10 years, right?
Yeah. I've been in 11 years now.
Are you sometimes surprised when you look at the the people on Yelp or the newspaper articles that
it's crazy.
People are worshiping to some level the bagels you make there?
I know it's pretty crazy, but I think it's just the bagel, like we give it the time it needs, the fermentation. It's a sourdough bagel. Not a lot of people do that these days just because of like labor costs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you give it the right fermentation, it ends up being this chewy, amazing product instead of rushing it. You get like a bun basically.
Well, Patty,
like a bagel.
Patty Pyburn, my co-host, knows that I am a sourdough fanatic. I love sourdough. And so if you can incorporate that into a bagel, that's a nice marriage.
Nicole, when Josh, when you were describing the holy, chewy, soury, she almost fell out of her chair listening.
Yeah, my mouth started watering. It really did. And then to toast that, I can just imagine how it would be. So, Josh, I'm curious because I've seen it on like Food Network or something. At some point, it's like boiled, right? Or it goes in
Like
water?
steamed?
Yep. No, you mix it, and then we ferment it for like 6 hours, and then we'll cut it out. We'll pretty much weigh them out, shape them. That's like the first shape. Put the hole in it, let it rise again, and then that's when you boil it.
Okay.
If you boil, that's what gives it the chewy texture.
And then how does it get its outer kind of color? Then do you have to like?
Well, yeah, then you bake it, you boil it, and then you seed it. Basically, you put it in whatever seed or whatever you want. Dip it in that, flip it out on some cornmeal on a peel, and then you bake it in the oven for like 15 or 20 minutes.
So I'm curious, what are some of your favorite bagels for your customers? What do they always want you to make?
I don't eat too many bagels these days. The customers, they really like the everything bagel that we
I
do.
love that.
We do just a couple little different things like celery seed and fennel seed in it.
Ooh, that sounds good. Garlic.
Yeah, garlic. I mean, it's all the normal everything, just with a few twists. And then
the breath
we do like
buster.
a sea salt, Maine sea salt bagel that people really love.
Ooh, that sounds good. And do you actually use sea salt there from Maine?
Yep, Maine sea salt.
Delicious.
And then Asiago is a pretty good seller too.
I like Asiago.
Yeah. Me too.
There's Brugger's makes one that has has it that way. I like that.
Gosh.
Josh, I'm wondering, I read a quote from you, and I think it was in the New York Times, saying that you are trying to raise the level of culinary knowledge and just food in general for the neighborhood of Portland in which your business operates and you live.
Yeah, in South Portland. I mean, I think it's raising, just in general, all around. It's like this, we have a little nook over here in South Portland that's Portland itself is just like, there's restaurants everywhere, it's saturated. But there's this little like neighborhoody South Portland over here that's just kind of like, there's not a lot of stuff going on over here, so I don't know. We opened this shop, my partner and I, back in the day, and then, a couple other cool spots have popped up, so I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a movement over here,
I like that. What's the population of Portland? I always imagine it in my head like around 200,000.
I'm not even sure, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I've
Definitely,
driven.
it's smaller than Portland West, but, I think it's a couple 100,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I've driven past Portland. I've never actually driven into Portland because I've always been headed up to Bar Harbor, Maine, or Camden. There used to be a brewery there called Sea Dog I like to go to.
Yep.
And then I've been to Rye, New Hampshire, which is just south of Portland, right?
Yep.
But I've never pulled off and gone into downtown Portland, so I don't have a great idea in my head of what it's like. But the rest of this, not South Portland, but the rest is kind of a foodie city?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's tons of food going on. A lot of amazing stuff happening.
Well, now we have reason to go to South Portland.
Right.
I say.
Yes,
The bagels.
I know.
That's
Now,
right.
do you
South
like
side.
are you all about the bagel being unadulterated, or do you guys do smears? Or
Oh, yeah. No, we do all kinds of smears.
I was looking at some of the pictures.
Oh,
They do.
Yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese, I think, is probably our biggest seller.
what is it again?
Just bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah.
We
Okay.
get
Well,
driven.
it's the end of the show. We've been doing this now for a couple of hours. All of us are sufficiently hungry, and we're going to end it on that. Josh Pataki, owner of a restaurant in Portland, Maine, so Portland East, not Portland West, as he said, called the 158 Pickett Street Cafe. We have a link for you at eatdrinkexplore.com. He makes some of the best bagels in the U.S. Josh, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.